Welcome back to my budget kitchen, where I teach you how to save money where you can so you can spend money where you want. All right, in our last video, we talked about meal planning myths and how your definition of meal planning and what that means is probably wrong if you are anti-meal planning. So today we are going to talk about the different types of meal planning and how to figure out which one is best for you, which one will save you money and time and stress and sanity. Saving your sanity is equally important to saving time and money, right? So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of all of these and how to implement them for you and your family. So what most people probably think of when they think of meal planning is each week choosing your meals for that week, choosing the recipes, making your grocery list, going to the store, or thank God we now can just place a pickup order and go pick it up, or even have it delivered to your doorstep, or apparently even into your house with Walmart in-home, which I find very strange, but that's a whole other story, right? So that is traditional meal planning. You pick a time frame and you plan your meals for that amount of time, and then you shop for those meals, right? And so that's what I typically do. And I have done 1 week meal plans, 2 week meal plans, and I've even done month-long meal plans. Sometimes when I've traveled, I've even planned like 30 plus days at once and bought like the bulk of those groceries and then just added in the fresh groceries when we've returned from travel. And honestly, for me, that's easier than coming home and trying to decide what to have for dinner for the next few days. Like, But you find what works for you. It might be frozen pizza or nights out after getting back from vacation. But I find that the more you practice each of these methods of meal planning, the better you're going to be, and the easier it will be to lengthen the amount of time you plan for, to work your meal plan easily, to save yourself time, money, and sanity, which is what I'm all about right now. All right? So traditional like time frame meal planning, the good parts about that is if you want to read grocery store flyers and match your meal plan to what's on sale, you can totally do that. I have actually stopped reading grocery store flyers. I might glance at them. I like to look at the Aldi flyer because they have all the Aldi special buys and all the fun stuff. But I just kind of take a glance and I don't actually meal plan based on that. If there's a really good sale on something, I might buy extra if it's something I typically buy. But I don't typically make my meal plan based on those things. But you can read your grocery store flyers and make your meal plan based on those to help yourself save money. What I do instead is I shop my kitchen first and I make my 2 week meal plan based on that. So I'll see what's in my pantry, what's in my fridge and freezer, and I will use those things to inspire my meal plan. And we're gonna talk about that in a later video. Next video, or maybe the one after that, is gonna be all about how to shop your kitchen to inspire your meal plans, to answer that question, Mom, what's for dinner? And to save yourself money. Again, one of the very important things on this channel will be how to save yourself money. So time frame meal planning, that's what I'm gonna call it for the purpose of this, can save money based on shopping your kitchen and shopping planning based on grocery store flyers. Where it can kind of have a hang up is you are constantly trying to make a new meal plan. You're constantly trying to come up with ideas for dinner. You can use the same ones over and over. You certainly can, but that might get a little boring, which is the con of the next type of meal planning. You can do a rotating meal plan. You can create week meal plans. You can decide 5. All right. All right, so the next method of meal planning, after my camera just fell and scared the heck out of me, you can do rotating meal plans. That is where you create a meal plan once and you rotate through it. So you can do this seasonally. I actually sell these. Shameless plug. I sell rotating meal plans in my Etsy shop, which is etsy.com/shop/live-cheap-travel-often. No and, just live cheap, travel often. And I sell seasonal meal plans, seasonal rotating meal plans. I have a spring and summer meal plan. I have a fall and winter meal plan. So seasonal recipes that you can rotate through. And then I have a general meal plan that you can rotate through. But you can, of course, make these for yourself. So the best thing about this is you decide it once and you just use it over and over. And con of this is that you're repeating meals, like I started to say before my camera fell. The con of this is that you can repeat meals and you can get a little bored. So a good way to counteract that, to not get bored of your dinners, is maybe only plan 4. So maybe you have a 6-week meal plan rotation with 4 meals in each one. And that's only 24 meals. That is actually quite easy to come up with. And then maybe each week, if you grocery shop each week, you add in 1 to 2 other meals. If you grocery shop for 2 weeks at a time like I do, you add in 3 or 4 meals for those weeks to give some variety. Or maybe you just decide to change it up. If you have tacos every 3rd week, maybe you do taco soup, maybe you do taco pizza, maybe you do chicken tacos. You can make those minor tweaks, but you have the basics of the meal plan in place. All right, so that is rotating meal planning. So the next method of meal planning, I have not actually personally done, but you can Google this, you can find more information about it, but it is capsule meal planning. And the concept is basically the same as a capsule wardrobe, where you have staple ingredients that you always have in your kitchen, and you mix and match them to make all of your meals. I don't prefer this one because I don't like to keep a lot of groceries in my kitchen. I like to buy what I need for the meal plan I've made, and then I use it up, and then I make a new meal plan and I buy the things for that meal plan, right? Whereas if you are constantly keeping these things in stock, you're constantly buying things. However, if variety and flexibility is really important to you, this may be best for you. The con of this one is it can be a little tricky to incorporate fresh produce. So a common meal I make is Greek chicken bowls or Greek chicken wraps, and those require red onion, tomato, lettuce, cucumber. So if I decide I want to make that, and maybe I have all the stuff to make the Greek dressing, maybe I have chicken in my freezer, but I don't have those fresh produce things, I do have to plan that meal for a later date after I go grocery shopping the next time. Or I have to make a special trip to the store for it, unless I happen to have those things on hand. But then if you buy fresh produce and you have it on hand, you need to make sure you use it, right? So it could be something different. I also use cucumbers. I make a really delicious homemade banh mi sandwich with cucumbers, or I make sushi bowls with cucumbers. So if I happen to have cucumbers, I know I can make all 3 of those meals. But I would also know that I have to make at least one of those meals to use up that cucumber before it goes bad. All right, so those are very, very briefly 3 types of meal planning that you can do. And here's just a few more tips about them and implementing them. I've done rotating. Like I said, I haven't really done the capsule method, but I a little bit just naturally have that because I do keep some basic things always stocked in my kitchen. I always have soy sauce, I always have balsamic vinegar, things like that are always stocked in my kitchen. And sometimes I do change up my meal plan and I know I have these ingredients on hand, so I can make something different if the fancy strikes me, I can make something different, right? So that's a little caveat. So deciding which one works best for you. You can give them all a try. I always recommend, if you're gonna give something a try, don't give it a 2-week try. Give it a month, 2-3 months. See what works best for you. The time frame meal planning, I think, is the easiest to start with because you can start small. You can start with 3 meals a week and then wing it for the others. Go back and watch my last video if you haven't, where I talk about how your meal plan can involve frozen pizza or running to the Chick-fil-A drive-thru. And I also talked about how Chick-fil-A is always going to be my example for running through a drive-thru, because that's typically where we go. So those things can be a part of your time frame meal plan. The rotating meal plan could also be very simple, especially if you buy an already made one. All right, so again, shameless plug, I sell them, etsy.com/shop/live-cheap-travel-often. All right, so you can go there and give those a try if that's what you would like to do. And so my seasonal ones, I believe, have 5. I made them a long time ago, and I'm having trouble remembering. I believe my seasonal meal plans have 5 dinners each week, and then my general rotating meal plan, year-round rotating meal plan, has 6. So some people, if you only cook 3 nights a week, you have 2 weeks. That 6-week meal plan is now 12 weeks. Actually, I think it's a 4-week meal plan. My apologies. But you can go buy that and it's pre-made for you and you don't even have to do any of the work. However, in future videos, which again, make sure you subscribe and ring the notification bell so you hear about them, I'm going to teach you the basic things to simplify dinner, to take the stress out of dinner time, to answer that mom's what's for dinner question without pulling your hair out. We're going to talk about how to find meal plan inspiration, how to find ideas for what's for dinner, because that's another one that people constantly tell me is the hardest part about meal planning and getting dinner on the table is the ideas. And I understand. And I've been there too. And I have found ways to combat that, and I can fill out my meal plans really quick and easy, no matter which of these methods I'm using. All right, so real quick, time frame meal planning where you make a new one each time. You can find inspiration from sales to save money, but you are starting from scratch each time. Capsule meal planning, you have the things on hand, it's the most flexible, but it can be a little tricky to avoid food waste. And then rotating meal plans, you might get a little bored of it, but all the work is done once, you decide everything once, and then you're done, and you haven't done for however long of time frame you made that meal plan for, you're done, you don't have to think about it again. So if you're in a season of life that is incredibly busy, that might be the best one for you. One other thing to consider with this is how much storage space you have. So one of the other reasons I haven't done capsule meal planning is because I previously did not have much storage space. This pantry right here in our house that we moved into about a month ago is a lot bigger than the past 2 pantries I've had. In our first apartment, our pantry was literally like 1 can deep. Like you literally could put 1 can in there and it was like this wide. So not much storage space, not much storage space. So I could not stock a bunch of food. We ate the food until it was basically empty in the kitchen, and then I went grocery shopping again. And that's just how it had to be. And even in our last house, our last apartment after that incredibly tiny one, those ones didn't have great storage either. So now that I have this bigger pantry, I'm probably gonna utilize it. It's gonna be full, I know that. I'm probably still not gonna do the capsule method because I found what works best for me, and I'm not gonna change it. Don't fix what ain't broke. So I'm gonna do my time frame ones. I'm gonna continue doing my 2-week planning, 2-week shopping. But take that into consideration, how much storage space you have. And then that will also help you determine how often you're gonna go to the grocery store. And then another important thing to consider is how much time you have to go grocery shopping. How much time you have to meal plan. I know that is a big issue. Again, that's why I sell pre-made ones. Shameless plug. So I know all of those are factors, but what I want you to get out of this video and all my videos is even if you have all of these things hindering you from meal planning, from getting dinner on the table for your family at home at night, you can do it. There are ways you can do it. And again, it doesn't have to be a fancy from scratch meal. It can be frozen pizza. It can be sandwiches. It can be whatever you need it to be in the season of life you're in. All right, so like I said, make sure you are following me on Instagram at Live Cheap and Travel Often. Be sure to subscribe to me here to see my upcoming videos to help you save more time, money, and sanity. And ring the notification bell so you know every time I share a new video. All right, see you next time in my budget kitchen.